Casino and Hotel, Maryland. I'm Glenn Clark. He's Paul Valley. We'll check in with Leon Twyman, assistant GM of the Fanduel Sportsbook here in just a bit. And coming up in just one moment, our buddy Aaron Oster from out in Vegas at VSiN will let us know what you need to know before we are just 2 days away from the NFL Draft. Oh, my word. Holy smokes. Very exciting night ahead. And speaking of that, this is your final call. You have 10 minutes to go to PressBoxOnline.com/contests. If you're listening to this later or watching this later, you do not have 10 minutes. You missed your chance. If you're watching or listening live, go right now, PressBoxOnline.com/contests, and you can register to win a VIP experience in the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel for the NFL Draft on Thursday night. You got to go right now because we're picking a winner in 10 minutes. So now, go do it. Sign up. You and 3 of your friends will get a reserved table, a $300 tab. The NFL chicks, Sarita Hubbard and I, are going to be there. We'll be hanging out. We got great giveaways, courtesy of Grade 8's memorabilia. Gonna be a day, or a night, really. You want to be there? Sign up. This is it. Last call. Register to win at PressBoxOnline.com/contest for that VIP experience. If you don't win, we still encourage you to come out and join us, hang out. Guarantee your spot. Reserve a spot by emailing events@sportssocialmd.com and be with us Thursday night for the NFL Draft, where you can win great prizes from Grade 8's memorabilia. Let's head out to Vegas. He is our buddy, Aaron Oster from VSiN. He's with us now here on Simply the Bets. What's going on, pal?
Oh, in that final blitz to add to my entire increasingly growing NFL draft pool before Thursday.
Oh, how many tickets do you currently hold for NFL draft bets?
It might be a little lower than I only have 20 at the moment.
Actually, would have expected far more. It's a lot more than the average person, of course, but it is definitely less than I expected it to be. I thought the number was going to have 3 digits when we asked that question.
But believe me, there are times I thought it might be, and then just in the past 24 hours, I've had a few times. I've been talking for weeks now about how you have to get on the tickets immediately because they can move in an instant.
Yep.
In the past 24 hours, I've had 2 bets that I planned on making. I, for whatever reason, didn't have the app, had to drive across town, and as I was driving, the odds shifted on me.
All right, so give me separate it from anything that might be included in 5Ls this week. The best advice that you have, generically, specifically, whatever, for anyone who wants to get some bets in over the course of the next day or two for the NFL Draft.
I would say, of course, study the timeline. As soon as someone puts out a mock draft, the lines move. Kind of narrow in on what you're looking for, and then it all, first of all, it depends on your jurisdiction. If you're in Vegas, do not wait. Go out now. Odds go off the board Wednesday night. Because in Nevada, you have 24 hours. So know your jurisdiction, know what you're doing. So that's a big one. Obviously, other places, you'll have live betting throughout the draft. So if you do that, know that. Pay attention to all the timelines. Get beat reporters up from all of your teams, not all of your teams, all the teams, period, up, and kind of be focusing on that. That's the best advice I can give. As far as specific plays, not including ones in my 5Ls that I was just looking and that I like, they include Breece Hall under 40.5, Christian Watson under 39.5, Arnold Ebiketie minus 115 to go top 32, Tyler Linderbaum over 28.5. I also like 2 specific team position plays, which is Steelers to take a quarterback with their first pick at minus 125, and Saints to go offensive line with their first pick at plus 300.
Boy, you don't think the Saints are still going to draft a quarterback, huh?
No, I do. I just don't necessarily know it's going to be with their very first pick.
All right.
They have 2 picks, and I think there's a chance they try to package up and go into the top 10.
Interesting.
To get an offensive line.
Very interesting. All right, so that's good advice. I can tell you, last week you hit on there being a first inning run. This is one of the more ridiculous hits in the history of betting. Aaron, his suggestion, his local bet last week, was to bet on a first inning run in the Orioles-Athletics game.
Yes.
The Baltimore Orioles, at that point, had scored, Aaron, how many first inning runs for the season?
0. Yes.
Aaron hit on a first inning run, the initial first inning run the Baltimore Orioles scored all effing year.
There you go. You just got to listen. You just got to believe in the do theory, and you know what? And you get a little lucky because I thought the Athletics would be the one to score, and the Orioles did. And that's the fun that there is with the first inning run play.
Also, I have more good news for you. One of your loser bets has now officially paid off, as well as in the past you had said, do not bet the Nets plus 290 to win the Eastern Conference. You could have said don't bet them to win a single playoff game, and you would have done even better than that. But that ends up proving to be the case. So we will continue to try to monitor some of those past bets that you have given us. Let's get into the 5 Ls for this week. Aaron Oster from VSiN out in Vegas. We begin. What is this week's local bets?
Well, this will, with the exception of the long-term play, this will be an entire NFL draft 5 Ls. So locally, I will look at the Ravens draft. And, as I mentioned before, Fanduel does have the what position will the first pick be. And for the Ravens, they don't have an odds-on favorite. The favorite is the play I like, which is defensive line plus 190, which I think is pretty good value right there. Obviously, a player could slip, and, if the Derek Stingley happens to be there, maybe they go a different direction. But when you look at the possible, the likely prospects to be there at 14, and obviously a trade up or down could affect this. But it's a lot of defensive linemen. It's maybe they're hoping Jermaine Johnson falls.
By the way, we need to step in and clarify. FanDuel does not offer like an edge rush option here. So to your point,
it's D-line/edge is actually the
So
play.
Jermaine Johnson does not count as a linebacker. He counts as a defensive lineman.
Correct.
So if that's the guy that you think is the guy, it would play off as a defensive lineman the same way that Jordan Davis, who plays a different position, would also pay off as a defensive lineman.
Correct, and that's why I really like this play. D-line edge rushers together. So, like maybe Stingley falls. That seems increasingly unlikely unless they trade up for him. Maybe they look at Kyle Hamilton. But if they stay at 14, to me it feels like a Johnson or a Davis, maybe even a George Karlaftis if they reach a little bit, if they really like him. And if this was, a minus 120 play, I'm not nearly as excited about it. But because it's plus 190, because that's about, a 38% value, I think it's a greater 38% chance that the Ravens go defensive line edge rusher with their first pick. So I really like that at plus 190.
So you and I agree on this one. The only caveat, I am a little bit, as I talked about earlier in the show, I don't know at all what to make of the Ian Rappaport thing yesterday, suddenly coming out and talking about Ronnie Stanley. And there is a lot of conspiracy theory that that's the Ravens trying to plant a smokescreen because they really are in on tackle at 14. And, it's plausible, right? I can't dismiss it. It's definitely a possibility. But I would still be with you. I think that defensive line should be the favorite. And I had said before, actually, if you follow Live Casino and Hotel on social media, I have said I am making that bet as well. So I am in agreement on that.
The other thing is if you assume that they stay at 14, what offensive linemen are they taking there? Obviously,
well, if Charles Cross were to slide, right?
Yes, if he drops, yes, I could potentially see that. But I don't see them reaching for a Penning or a Linderbaum or someone like that.
Yep. All right, so that's the local. Let's go to long shot next. What is the underdog bet that you like?
Well, we're actually going to go down 95 there, and this is another team position play, and it's one that I don't totally understand. It's a long shot because of the odds given, but I don't think it's nearly a long shot that it is. That's the Washington Commanders to take a safety at plus 650.
Wow. A lot of people think they like Kyle Hamilton.
Exactly. That one really stunned me when I saw that. It's not like that on other sites. Kyle Hamilton, I think, absolutely is in play. I think that he's not necessarily their first choice. I think they absolutely could end up going wide receiver when all is said and done. But Kyle Hamilton is absolutely a viable pick there. I think he's at least a 25% chance that they take him, which would be 3-1, not plus 650. I think the plus 650 is way, way too much. I'd run out there and make that bet right now because I think it's a very decent chance that Kyle Hamilton ends up as a Commander.
I guess there's the possibility that they're just going wide receiver, right? Like that.
Yes,
there's
100%.
It's like it's already been determined. No, come hell or high water, they're taking whatever wide receiver is there. But man, I hear you. All right, Aaron Oster from VSiN out in Vegas with his 5 L's for the week. So this one, I guess, will not be about the NFL draft. Give me your long-term, your futures bet for the week.
I'm going to go with the NBA here, and it's not exactly the flashiest bet, but I like it. It's plus 600 for a Celtics Warriors NBA Finals. I'm kind of conceding the Suns thing right now. I mentioned how much I like the Celtics several weeks ago. I think I even gave it out as a futures play as the Celtics to win the Eastern Conference, and that hasn't changed. And obviously, with the injuries to the Sun, Warriors have become the team to like in the West. And the real reason I like this bet is really because of the number. When you combine the Celtics, and normally when you see these kind of fixed parlays, if you will, you're getting a worse number than you would get if you just kind of put money down on both of them and kind of forced your own parlay in there. That's not the case in this one. If you combine the odds for the Celtics and Warriors to win their respective conferences, that should net you plus 570. So getting plus 600 is actually getting you an extra 30 cents.
Interesting.
And, it's not a big deal, but an extra 30 cents is nice. So, yeah, Celtics Warriors NBA Finals is plus 600 right now. I take it for my long-term play.
Okay, I'll give you the issue that I have with this is I know you're dismissing the Suns, and I get it. I completely get it. That being said, if they survive and get Devin Booker back, they are a serious threat. They are, like, I kind of did this, I think, with Andrew Stecca the other night. What the Suns are with versus without Devin Booker is drastic. There are a lot of people that are like, hey, this points out bigger problems with the Suns. No, it doesn't. This is what would happen to the Warriors if they lost Steph Curry. Like,
sure.
This is the NBA. You lose this one player, this is who you are. Now, somebody would say, hey, the Mavericks didn't look like this when they didn't have Luka Doncic. Well, we didn't know how good Jalen Brunson was capable of being. The Suns don't have a Jalen Brunson. There's nobody on their roster that can do this. So there is a chance they lose this series. I mean, there's a real chance they lose this series. I still don't. I wouldn't bet that at the moment. Like, if a gun to my head, I got to bet one way or the other. And if they don't lose the series, there is a time frame where they can get Devin Booker back and be the Suns again. So that's the part of this that's struggling with. And, I've had people make the argument that now, and you saw how good they looked last night, now that the Mavericks know what Jalen Brunson is, like, I think the Mavericks are a completely different team than what we thought they were, because out of nowhere, they've added an all-star caliber player to their roster. It just so happens to be a guy that was already on their roster we just didn't know was this thing. So
right.
I think the Mavericks are actually more compelling than people are giving them credit for, because we've never seen anything like this, where a team, like, we can compare it to Jordan Poole. We've known Jordan Poole was really good for months at this point. Like, we knew that Jordan Poole was a thing. We had no clue what Jalen Brunson was when these playoffs began, and all of a sudden we got to realize, like, they have two serious options in Dallas. They're a legitimate threat to me.
I absolutely agree. I like the Mavericks. If you want, like, Celtics Mavericks, you want to play the same bet, that's 16-1 at Fanduel. And that might not be a bad
that is
play
kind of
right there.
juicy, isn't it? That is kind of juicy.
Yeah. The other thing as far as the Suns go, by the way, is simply, I've been talking up the Suns since really we started this segment. So, if you've been following me, you have a little bit of portfolio in the Suns.
Right.
This is potentially a way to get off if you are a little bit worried.
Okay. Yeah, look, I don't blame anybody for being worried about the Suns at all. Like, they cannot, if they don't have Devin Booker, they might not beat the Pelicans. And also part of that is the Pelicans are far better than your typical team that ends up as an 8 seed, because they were terrible to start the season, and then they added C.J. McCollum, and they've been very good for some time. They're just, the totality of their record was abysmal because of what happened at the beginning of the year. All right, now, Aaron, let's go with the loser bet, the one that you say, whatever you do, do not make this bet.
Yeah, this one actually just moved, so while I still think it's slightly less of a loser than it was just a few minutes ago, and that's right now, Kayvon Thibodeau is plus 140 to go top 3. Look, based on what we've been hearing over the past 24 to 48 hours, we think that it's Trayvon Walker going number 1.
Yep.
That's going to cause a major change to anybody's top 3, which might have included Kayvon Thibodeau before. But even if we're assuming, okay, maybe it's not Trayvon Walker, there is no chance that Kayvon Thibodeau goes number 1. I don't think there's any chance Kayvon Thibodeau goes number 3, because I really think that Lovey is looking at probably secondary, honestly, maybe offensive line. So you're looking at number 2. Right now, I think if it's Trayvon Walker, I'd be stunned if the Lions did anything but rush up to the podium and keep the Michigan man in Detroit. But if you do think that's Kayvon Thibodeau, well, you can get him at plus 250 to go number 2. So I don't know where this plus 140 to go top 3 is because, again, I think the only spot he can land is at that number 2 position. I think it's a bad bet. I don't think he goes number 3 anyways. If you do think he goes number 3, well, just play him plus 250 to go number 2. And I actually think that you could see a little bit of a drop for Thibodeau on draft day.
I'm in favor of that for the record. That sounds enticing to your boy who would like that fit in Baltimore quite a bit. All right, and the bet that you love, the bet that you say, whatever you do, race, walk, whatever you have to do, hitchhike with someone who looks like a serial murderer in order to get to the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland in order to make this bet.
This is one that I've been waiting for a week to make out here in Las Vegas, and no one's giving me exactly what I want. But luckily, you guys out there in Maryland have this bet available.
We're just better than you, Aaron. You just got to do it.
Apparently,
yeah.
Absolutely.
We're better than you, and you know it. That's the thing. I just came up with that. It's
really, really clever. You should trademark that.
I should look into it.
And then use that money to go bet on this bet, which is Desmond Ridder minus 135 to go top 32, just to go in the first round. More and more, I'm hearing that there are teams in the back of the draft, including maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers, who really, really love Desmond Ridder. I don't think he makes it out. I think that the Lions potentially could take him in that 32nd spot. I think there's teams that could trade back into the first round to take him. I think the Titans could take him, honestly, at, I believe that's 26. There are a number of teams towards the back, I think, and the more I look at it, I just find almost no way that he makes it out of the end of the first round. You're going to see his over-under around, including at FanDuel, at like 30.5, 31.5. But I really want that 32nd spot because the Lions are sitting there, because I think the Lions very well could take a quarterback with that 32nd pick. So I'm good with laying the extra juice, paying minus 135 for Desmond Ridder to go to top 32.
There you go. Those are your 5 L's. Paul's going to post them up at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter if you missed any of them. Aaron, what is the plans this week for the VSiN crew in relation to the NFL draft?
Of course, we're going to be doing some NFL draft coverage. Obviously, you want to go down to Maryland Live. You want to hang out with you. But if you're not, there's no better place to go than VSiN. Check that out. We will have live coverage both Thursday night and Friday night from across Vegas. We'll be at the South Point. We'll be at the Circa. And you might have some special guests joining us throughout the way, some big names, if you will. So make sure to check that out at VSiN.com.
Very good. At the A. Oster on Twitter, as well as how you follow him. Aaron Oster, appreciate you, my friend. We will talk to you again next Tuesday. Good luck this week.
Good luck. Can't wait for Thursday.
Oh, it's going to be exciting. Thanks, buddy. Aaron Oster joining us here on Simply the Bets from out in Vegas to get us ready for the NFL draft. When we come back in, we'll come a little bit closer to home. Leon Twyman is the assistant general manager of the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. He will let us know what it is that we need to know for those of you that are headed down to try to bet on the draft this week. That's next. This is Simply the Bets. Sports fans, the wait is over. The all-new Fanduel Sportsbook is now open at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. This is your chance to win big right in your own backyard. Bet on every sport with self-service kiosks and watch all of the action from the best seat in the house. Make every moment more at the all-new Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Baseball is back, and so is the spring seasonal menu at Glory Days Grill. Start with the opener, flash-fried pork belly with our popular Korean No. 2 sauce, and take a bite out of the Crunch Burger, topped with home run sauce, white American cheese, and house-made chips. It also features irresistible options like a baseball-cut sirloin with blue cheese, grilled shrimp with garlic butter, and a strawberry salmon salad. And then there's the closer, the Cracker Jack Sundae with a waffle, ice cream, and Cracker Jacks. This menu will be gone at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill. GloryDaysGrill.com to find out more. Great food, good sports.
Baseball is back. I'm Paul Valley.
And I'm Zach Goodman.
You can find us live every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon talking all things Orioles and Major League Baseball.
Like the debuts of Adley Rutschman and Grayson Rodriguez.
And how the rotation and bullpen are rounding into form. Watch us live at youtube.com/PressBoxOnline and Facebook.com/PressBoxSports.
Or you can listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio.
That's the Bat Around, live with the latest in baseball coverage every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon.
The Toyota Tacoma comes in a wide range of models and trim lines. You can choose the perfect Toyota to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today.
If you miss anything, don't forget that you can find whole shows later on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon Podcasts. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
All right, back in here on Simply the Bets. Glenn Clark, Paul Valley with you. It's all brought to you by the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, where we're going to be on Thursday night. Our friends at Grade 8's Memorabilia are joining us. They will have some tremendous autographed memorabilia to give away. The NFL chick, Sarita Hubbard, is going to be hanging out with me as we will be reacting with you during the draft. We'll also have on the side screens the NBA playoff games will be up so we can watch those and bet on those as well. So it's going to be an awesome night hanging out in the Fanduel Sportsbook, where we're going to see our next guest. He, of course, is the assistant general manager of the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. He is our buddy, Mr. Leon Twyman, and he's back with us now here on Simply the Bets. What's going on, Leon? How are you, bud?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Everything is all right, my friend. It is a big week. I know people want to get down to the FanDuel Sportsbook like today, tomorrow, to get your bets in ahead of the NFL draft, and then just sit back at home if you can't join us Thursday night and look at your tickets and enjoy what you're cashing in. My God, this feels like the Super Bowl with all of the various props that you guys have available for the draft.
Yes. There's definitely a lot available there, and people are definitely getting excited for it. So we've been seeing some bets come in. It's definitely going to be a big hit. You have any in particular that is, if you've looked at all of these props, is there any one that you're like, wow, that one is really fascinating to me for whatever reason? Honestly, what I've been seeing, because a lot of people are betting it, is just, which team is going to draft which player and which position. That's like the most popular right now. Okay. So is it something that is it local bettors that you get the most action from, or is it like indiscriminate? Do you get as much like action on like, say, the Cowboys as you do on the Ravens or the Commanders? Yeah. It's definitely not just for the local teams. It's kind of all over. So, obviously the area where we're at, Baltimore and Washington, are going to be the most popular team. But, surprisingly, it's actually a big Dallas area as well, which I'm a Dallas fan.
I know that's true.
I love to see it.
Leon, you can love to see it. I hate to see it, of course. Our friend Papa Kaz is wearing a Cowboys shirt today, and she's all, stop, shut up, Kaz. We don't like that. But they're everywhere. You guys are rats, man. Like, you're everywhere. We can't get rid of you. I got one prop that I have played already, Leon. Malik Willis to be selected in the top 10 and Desmond Ridder to be selected in the first round. That combo pays out at plus 195. I think that Willis is actually the bigger risk of the two, because I think a lot of us were working under the assumption that he was going to be the Panthers pick. And now it looks more like the Panthers could end up being the team for Baker Mayfield. And so if that's the case, they're not going to be spending a top 10 pick on a quarterback. So I'm a little bit more nervous about the Willis side of it today. I think Ritter's going to end up finding his way into the first round. What do you think about that combo of Malik Willis in the top 10, Desmond Ridder in the first round?
Oh, I like it. Definitely getting some plus money there as well.
there's still so many ways you can get plus money out of this draft if you're trying to build a parlay like that. So I'm definitely all for it.
Yeah, by the way, as you say that, like there are so many combination bets that are available for the NFL draft, man. Like it is like these are just parlays. These aren't even like the parlays that you could build yourself within the NBA draft or the NFL draft. These are ones that are already curated for you. I'll just throw out a couple. 3+ quarterbacks and 6+ wide receivers taken in the first round. Minus 135. There's an assumption that's going to happen. I like the wide receiver side of it. I'm starting to get nervous about the quarterback thing. I think Kenny Pickett is like sort of the magical, will he or won't he end up being in the first round? I'm nervous about that. Let me go a little bit further down. At 23-1, specifically, you could parlay Malik Willis being drafted by the Falcons and Kenny Pickett being drafted by the Steelers at 23-1 as a parlay.
23-1 there.
It's I think it's a reach. I think there's a reason it's 20. Leon, I think there's a reason why it's 23-1. I don't feel. I think Desmond Ridder actually is the guy for Pittsburgh. The more I think about it, I think he's going to be their guy. But that's the type of stuff. Like there's so many of those that are available that my head's spinning, and they're all very delicious. Like Trayvon Walker to be a top 3 pick and Jordan Davis to be a top 10 pick. The two Georgia guys, you could combo that at plus 390.
Yep, you're almost getting your 4-1 there. That's a good one there.
Right? Like, and especially now that we think that Trayvon Walker is going to be the number 1 guy. What has the action been like since Trayvon Walker became the favorite to go number 1 overall, which was over the weekend? Have you seen like that bet heavy, or are there still people that think that this is a smokescreen and that Aiden Hutchinson's going to be the guy?
So it hasn't been heavy yet, but I'm sure as it gets closer, I think people are gonna jump on that bandwagon there.
Right.
But we haven't seen a lot yet.
I feel like as the odds move, right? Like people are like, oh, somebody's got to know something, right?
Yeah.
So right now it is Trayvon Walker minus 200, so it's gone down even further. Minus 200 and Hutchinson plus 250. The one movement is that it really did look like a 2-horse race. Ike Ekwonu is now slid back into 4-1. So he is at least in the conversation still as far as betting is concerned in the FanDuel Sportsbook to be the number 1 overall pick. So that's what we need to know. Anything else we need to know about draft week, about what you can do? Anything else that we need to know before people head down there to bet the draft, Leon?
Just utilize those 61 kiosks that we have. There's just so many different markets that you can bet on. It'd just be so hard to go through those, over the radio now. But if you take your time and you just go through all those markets on the kiosk, you might find something you really might like. And who knows, you might be able to have a nice come up from it.
You can bet by player, you can bet by team, you can bet. It's like looking at a giant spreadsheet, really, Leon, and doing all of this. When I got into this business, I was to understand there would be no math. So this is actually a little bit much for me doing all of this. But there is so much available for you as far as betting the draft is concerned. How about now? What has the action been like as far as betting the playoffs specifically? As you know, Leon, I'm a huge Suns fan, so I have sweat through every article of clothing that I have owned since Devin Booker got hurt. Are you suddenly seeing a ton more money coming the Warriors' way?
Yes, we definitely are seeing the Warriors take some heavy action. Surprisingly, last night we had a lot of people take action on the Nets. Obviously, they didn't turn out the way they thought it was going to.
Did they not watch the first 3 games?
They didn't think it was going to be a sweep, but unfortunately it was. So, people have hope.
Has the sweep changed the way people bet on the Celtics? Like they were not real. As we know, the Nets were the second favorite in the East coming in. Have people suddenly started throwing more money the way of the Celtics just simply because of how good they looked in sweeping the Nets?
Yeah, we saw some heavy money come in on them last night, but we also saw very heavy money on the Nets as well.
That's so wild.
So I was surprised because in the very beginning of the series, it wasn't even close. All the money was on the Nets at the very beginning of the series.
All right, so
not even close.
So let's update now for championship futures betting. The Warriors are now the favorite at plus 290. The Celtics the second favorite, so I think that shows you how significant it was, them sweeping the Nets at plus 450. The Suns have dropped a third while they wait out Devin Booker because they could lose the Pelicans if they don't get Devin Booker back. They're at 5-1. Then the Heat, then the Bucks. I'm going to give you the one, Leon, that's jumping off the page at me. And I don't think when I'm there on Thursday night, I've got the balls to bet them to win the NBA title. But I might throw a couple bucks in on them to win the West. That's the Dallas Mavericks.
Dallas is a solid team, man. They're 13-1 right now for a championship, but again, as you said, win the West, not a bad idea.
5-1 to win the West at the moment. And the way I was talking about it with our buddy Aaron Oster from out in Vegas, you don't ever get to see a team that gets to basically add another all-star caliber player as the playoffs get underway. But that's essentially what the Mavericks have done with the way that Jalen Brunson emerged as Luka Doncic got hurt. Jalen Brunson was a guy. And all of a sudden, Luka Doncic gets hurt. He's pressed into this role, and he plays like one of the best players in basketball. He's still there on top of Luka Doncic. You saw what that looked like last night. Holy F, I think they're still scoring points against the Jazz at the moment. I think the Mavericks are a legitimate threat to win the West at this point.
I agree 100% with you. They look amazing last night.
Well, my friend, you're going to walk me over to one of them kiosks on Thursday night, and we're going to put a couple of bucks in. That's the way that it's going to go. What else is on your radar? What else are people interested in this week? What else is going on? What else do people need to know about?
So, we some of the prop bets for the playoffs that people are betting are the 3x2s. And if you don't know what the 3x2s is, it's 2+ 3-pointers in the first 3 minutes of the game, and people are loving it.
Wait a second. So say that one more time. It's 2+ 3-pointers in the first of any game?
Yes, of any game. Will there be? It's a yes or no question, basically. Will there be 2+ 3-pointers in the first 3 minutes of the game? People are loving it.
Oh, I love that. That's all anybody does anymore is shoot threes, right?
Yeah.
Like, I got to see what the schedule is going to look like for Thursday night because we don't know yet who's going to be playing and when. But it's another one I think you can count on me making while I'm there, Leon. It's the immediacy of it, right? But, okay,
yeah.
you can make fun of me all you want, but I think I told you last week, I have bet Ukrainian ping pong. And people are laughing at me, but it's the immediacy of the payoff. Like, these ping pong matches take like 5 minutes. And so you make a bet, and you immediately get a payoff to it. And that's what makes that so enticing as a bettor. Nobody likes betting these futures bets because you got to wait forever. You forget that. I have so many NBA MVP betting tickets that are out there that I might have gotten rid of my Nikola Jokic one at some point accidentally and held on to the wrong ones because I've been holding on them for so long. The immediate payoff of the 2 3-pointers in the first minute bet is delicious as a bettor. That's what you're looking for.
People are hammering that right now. They're doing that, and also when it comes to first basket, you can obviously choose who the first basket is going to be, like what the player is going to be, but we also have the method of first baskets, and that's another very popular one. You can choose a player and whether they're going to have a dunk, free throw, layup, or any other type of field goal.
I'm guessing that mid-range jumper does not get you very good or would get you incredible odds because it's never going to pay off for the first basket of the game. It's like Chris Paul and no one else. That might be the guy that would hit the mid-range jumper to start a game. That's about the list. It's great stuff, man. Leon, I'm looking forward to it. We will be there Thursday night. It's going to be an exciting night, a great atmosphere with the draft as well as some playoff games going on. Can't wait to be back in the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Appreciate you as always, my friend. We'll talk to you next week, all right?
All right. I'll talk to you then. I'll see you this week as well.
It's Leon Twyman, the assistant GM of the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. And again, we will be there on Thursday night for the NFL Draft. Myself, the NFL chick, Sarita Hubbard, Grade 8's memorabilia will be hanging out with us, giving away some incredible autographed gear. Gonna be a great night. Yes.
What do you like better, betting on Ukrainian table tennis or the idea of the 2+ 3-pointers?
I really do like that, but I still think I like Ukrainian table tennis better. If I'm being honest with you, Paul,
it's
hard.
lightning.
It's really hard to get any information though. It's really hard. So what you're basically trusting is that the odds are legitimate going in. and that the people that are setting the odds know what they're talking about. And so I'm not going to lie to you. I'm just basically betting favorites, right? Like, that's all I'm really doing. I might look at a match as it started live and see if maybe a favorite by losing the first set has been bet down to a place where I'm like, that's interesting, and then I'll throw a couple of bucks that way. It's just the quickness of it. Like, you look up and you're like, holy crap, it's over. It's over. The entirety of the ping pong match. They play sets to 11, and you have to win 3 sets in order to win the match. And even them at that level where they have real rallies and, like, this does not look like ping pong over at, say, like, Hat Top. You know what I mean? Like, this is a real thing. I'm telling you, it still does not take all that long. I have definitely done that. Okay, so I was giving blood yesterday at Stevenson, supporting Maddie Strong, that initiative. And I as I was sitting on the thing giving blood, I won 3 ping pong bets. As I'm sitting,
bored. What should I do? Play
exactly
Sudoku? No, I'm going to bet Ukrainian.
What else was I going to
tennis.
do? Well, I made some money. That's what I did. I won 3 ping pong bets. Make fun of me all you want. Make fun of me all you want. Now, my biggest loss from this past week was also on a ping pong bet. It was a mistake that I made, but my biggest loss this is the danger when you're like bored and you're betting on your phone, which we can't do yet in the state of Maryland, and I bet through the Fanduel Sportsbook. But if hypothetically you could do that, right? Hypothetically speaking, the danger of it is that you hit the wrong button and you don't notice. Now, that paid off for me once because one of the bets that I put in on that Suns-Pelicans game when Devin Booker got hurt, I accidentally put on the Pelicans. And I did not mean to, I assure you, but it won me like $500. Now, I also accidentally put in an extra digit in the amount of money that I was betting on a ping pong match over the weekend, and my loss was significant. It was a significant number. Now, again, because I do this for entertainment reasons, like none of this is actually, I have put in $1 amount ever for betting in this particular account, and it's just entertainment after that. So it's fine. I lost a lot, but I had a lot to lose in the account, and so I just go back. I go right back to work afterwards is the way that it goes. But there's nothing you can do. It's on you. You got to double check. You got the chance to double check before you put it in. I didn't. I wanted to put in a 3-figure bet. I put in a 4-figure bet on a ping pong match that I lost. It was an unpleasant. Yeah. Yeah.
That
it definitely. I took a day off afterwards. I regrouped. I said, I'm gonna chill out for a little while. That was a mistake. Anyway, these things happen.
That's a perfect lead-in.
Yes.
To our tidbet.
Yes, tidbet of the week.
That is a perfect lead-in. This tidbet this week comes from a tweet from @BuffaloBobZ.
I love Buffalo Bob.
His name is Oreo Speedwagon.
Okay, I think I like him.
All right, tonight I meant to place a $2.50 bet.
What does Elon Musk think is wrong with this app? It's perfect. Oreo Speedwagon's out here doing Buffalo Bob stuff. How can Elon Musk improve that?
Well,
by the way, a reminder: he paid $44 billion for that.
Yep.
for Oreo Speedwagon, he paid $44 billion for Oreo Speedwagon.
Glenn places bets on Ukrainian table tennis when he's bored. Elon Musk spends $44
not
billion
$44
on social
billion.
media.
I've never bet that on a Ukrainian ping pong match.
All right, so this from @BuffaloBob, or our good friend Oreo Speedwagon. @BuffaloBob.
We are good friends.
April 21st. Tonight, I meant to place a $2.50 bet on the Sabres winning, and Kyle, forgive me on this name, Okpaso, scoring for. He's an NHL player. Kyle,
not one I'm familiar with.
Okpaso scoring first. Instead, because I'm old, I accidentally placed a $250 bet on the Sabres winning and Kyle Okpaso scoring the first goal. Tonight is a very, very, very good night. It was Kyle Okpaso to score first and Buffalo Sabres to win in 60 minutes, so in regulation, at plus 4,000 odds. His $250 bet won him $10,250. One hell of a mistake.
Sometimes you make good mistakes. I've told people I bet a Swiss soccer match once where I similarly made a mistake, and it was one I was given a tip. I was given a tip about a Zurich soccer match where they were like the odds aren't right.
Not Gaelic soccer.
Not Gaelic soccer, not second division Gaelic football. This was a Swiss soccer match involving Club Zurich, I believe they're called. And what I was told was, hey, these odds are wrong. Like, Zurich should be a significantly bigger favorite than this. Like, this should be this club that they're playing against they stink. Hammer this. So very similar situation. I went to put like 250 down, but somehow I hit like 850 was the number, and I was like, oh my God, but paid off well. So sometimes they work for you, sometimes they work against you. Again, if you got a problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. If you're just doing it for entertainment and for fun, you can live when mistakes happen. Like, even if you lose a lot of money on a Ukrainian ping pong match, you're doing it for entertainment reasons. This is not money that was going to my children. This was not going to pay my bills for the week. This is a different thing altogether. So life will go on. If you're betting, bet for those reasons. Don't bet for other reasons. All right, very good. Thanks to Aaron Oster. Thanks to Leon Twyman. No weekend at Bookies this week. That'll be back next week. Our next betting show will be next Tuesday night. But again, don't forget, come join us in the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel this Thursday evening. We will see you there for the NFL Draft. For Paul and for Cass, this has been Simply the Bets. May the odds be ever in your favor.